Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, you know, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, you know, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. You know, and so, you know, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley, and it was Road Course Mania this weekend. It's pretty much all the major series running on road courses at COTA and St. Petersburg. We're here to talk about it, folks. How are we doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Brian. Aside from the extra snow we received today, winter has just about snapped my spirit and will to live in half, but apparently this is the last storm of the year of what, I don't know. Can you trust meteorologists? Not really. But it's going to be in the 60s next week. So that's Uncle Rob's weather report from Worcester, Massachusetts. How about you, True Love? How's the barometer treating you down there?
It's pretty good. I think it's supposed to be 75 by Friday, and it's daylight savings this weekend, so I'm very excited.
Oh, that's
about that.
right.
It's going to be 70 here this week, too, so I'm very excited.
Things are starting to look good.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, great weekend of road course racing. That's not usually something I would say, but I guess I'll express my love for COTA a little later, which is a total flip. But yeah, Truck Series. What'd you guys think?
What I saw of it was good. I didn't see all of it, and I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that the truck guys are able to figure it out as opposed to the retired IndyCar drivers that haven't been in a truck in decades. So it was good.
They did pretty well, to be honest with you.
They did. They trying to think. I mean, Hinchcliffe and Dario were pretty much in the top 10 for the beginning of the race, and they both got top 20s out of it, right?
Yeah, Dario had some sort of issue with the truck and ended up towards the back. Speaking of IndyCar drivers, ones who weren't participating in the truck race, I guess Pato O'Ward was not thrilled to be playing second fiddle to the Truck Series, which I don't.
Which they weren't.
I don't think anyone thought
weren't.
that.
Not at all.
Yeah, I guess maybe if you want to talk about, the fact that it was the first truck street race, sure. I mean, there's some prestige there, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, I mean, it's still, the IndyCar was the main show of the weekend, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about there.
I mean, they will be second fiddle next weekend, but...
Yes, they will.
Not this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, yeah, I didn't get to watch all of it. Like I said, I saw bits and pieces of the race because I was kind of busy Saturday. But it didn't seem like too much of a mess. Everybody.
No, they didn't embarrass us.
No, not at all.
There was a little mess, but yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, the Truck Series proven to be very clean this year, which I don't know what sort of alternate timeline we fucking slipped into, but here we are.
I think it just seems like a lot of the more aggressive guys have all moved up, and now, Lane Riggs is still pretty aggressive, but he's, been in pretty decent behavior so far. So,
yeah. So we got a note here about True Love having a favorite truck driver name. Who'd that be?
I did. There was some kid in the race named Wesley Slimp, and that is a last name that I have never heard before, but boy, is it fun to say.
That sounds like he'll come suck out your septic tank. Slimp and Sons.
Oh, Slimp Biscuit.
I really hope he does well in trucks and we get to hear that. We're gonna have to make that nickname happen. Also, James Hinchcliffe deciding that James Hinchcliffe was much too Canadian of a name to run a NASCAR event, so he went by Jimmy Hinch all weekend. Had that up on top of the door, and also
I appreciated that.
Same. Fox Booth was blessed by the presence of Townsend Bell, which I guess is probably the first time he's ever watched a truck race, and still managed to convey more knowledge about it than Jamie Little and Michael Waltrip combined.
Yep.
Yes. Mikey had his own moment, though. I forget the exact context of this and how he...
They're talking about the kink.
Yeah.
Ironically.
I was going to say, he was... So there's a turn in the road course they call a kink, and he decided to call it a twink for some reason. And it's like, Mikey, I know you know what that word means.
That was a Freudian slip if there ever was one.
Because he said, he was like, I was trying to say turn and kink, and that's just what came out. And then Townsend Bell immediately was like, just call it kink. Don't ever say that again. I don't want to hear you say twink again.
But seriously, shout out to Townsend Bell and his fucking fedora he was probably wearing up there, doing a great job in the booth.
There was another moment where I can't remember the driver's name, but he had a loose steering wheel that was like very wobbly, and Townsend was super concerned about it because that's not normal, and goofy ass Mikey was not concerned at all, and you could just tell that Townsend is like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all letting drivers out there with wobbly steering wheels?
Especially on a road course, yeah.
There was a few instances of the booth interrupting driver communications. I think some of the teams might have got a little frustrated, but there was a funny moment where they were trying to talk to Dario, and they interrupted a communication from his team. I think it was Jimmy Johnson talking to him, where he was warning Dario that Chris Wright is a bit of a loose cannon. And then a few laps later, Chris Wright spun. So
yeah. Again, shout out to Dario and James Hinchcliffe for going out there, and Dario in particular. I don't know if you guys listened to his Dale Jr. download episode, but that's must listen if you're an IndyCar fan or just a racing fan in general. That guy definitely fucking got the golden horseshoe. He's very talented, but it seems like his path was written stone from the moment he stepped behind a wheel. Just some lucky shit happening. Getting hooked up with who was it? Not Jim Clark. Jackie Stewart at the beginning of his career, and just all the way through. Seems like he was always one phone call away from the next fucking legend to help him out, and very cool to see him get back in the truck after getting hurt at Houston all those years ago. This is his first like really major competitive race since then, I believe. I know he's done some like Goodwood and sports car shit, like sort of gentleman stuff since then, but this is the first real competition, and pretty badass to see him up there in the top 10 all day. Fighting with the children and Ty Majeski, who ruined his own race and handed it to Lane Riggs. So congrats, Lane Riggs. Also a guy who doesn't know how to drive in a road course, but who would have known? You fucking whooped him. And also, big shout out to Kyle Ayala and the Nice Motorsports guys. Ben Mayer behind the wheel of the truck this weekend, and they got themselves an 11th. Looked like it was going to be a top 10 for a little bit.
Yeah, they started 35th and just chipped their way all the way through the field. So
and all four Nice trucks, I think, were in the top 11.
Yeah,
so
great days for all of them. Yeah, that was cool to see. So shout out Kyle. I think he had a great time in St. Pete, eating plantain chips and cleaning out interiors or whatever he does down at Nice. But whatever he does helped, it seems. So congratulations, bud.
Moving on to the Xfinity race at COTA. Again, this is one I didn't get to see much of, but I did listen to at least most of it. And True Love had another driver with a favorite name.
I did. I don't know if I can pronounce this one though, so I'm just gonna make it up. But there was a guy named Baltazar Leguzaman, which was a mouthful. They showed a photo of him, and he looked very scary. He just came out of a 1600s castle in a faraway land or something. So
Balthazar.
Yeah. He had a pretty hard wreck later in the race. He had a little bit of a limp, so hopefully he's okay. But
he probably came with the limp with the name like that. From fighting the Swedes back in 1640 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Hot off his final first victory in the O'Reilly series. I also just noticed the race is still listed as Xfinity in here, so that's funny.
Apostrophes cost money.
Yeah. Sheldon Creed got into it with Brent Cruz apparently. You have to Tell me about that.
Yeah, there was just a moment where I guess Creed had driven Cruz a little aggressive, but like nothing crazy at all. And then the next turn, Cruz just straight up dumped Creed, so sent him back to like the back of the pack. So.
All right, noted. Well, fuck you, Brent Cruz. Now, I saw Zillish's problems later in the race, which we'll get to in a second, but he was having brake issues before that. I guess
his brakes went out and they replaced them in the pits. And
he something with the rotor or something, right? And they were able to fix that real quick. So yeah, I did see that. Unfortunately, we didn't really see much of a SVG Zilich battle really all weekend, which everybody kind of thought would happen. But again, we'll get to Sunday when we get to it. But SVG, he did SVG things, including passing for the lead and then throwing the deuces out the window at his competitors, which is just A+ move, just perfect.
10 out of 10. No contact. It's great.
And now we get to the Corey Day terrorism. Weekly terrorism.
The Fox News terror alert chart, which has been moved up to red for multiple reasons, but number one is definitely Corey Day. Never mind the Middle East. Corey Day is the biggest threat to American security I can think of right now.
So what did he do to Ross? Because if I was him, I wouldn't be fucking with Ross. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was nothing crazy either, but they were definitely banging doors for a lap or two there. So there was something going on.
Well, the one I did see was him taking out Connor Zilich. I believe they were both in the top 5 at that point. Yet again, so this guy, for a race car driver, he seems to be really bad at controlling his car when the car has any issue. Because last week it was Atlanta was a flat tire, supposedly, that got into the one car. And this week, apparently he said something with the under tray in the front of his car was messing up his aerodynamics, and coming out of one corner, just completely plowed into Zilich and took him out.
Yeah, just got the timing wrong. I don't think it's really mechanical problems with him. I think it's more of an accountability.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. very, very clearly that's the issue. And then after the race, they were interviewing both of them. And Connor, he did his best to kind of, watch his temper, but he basically was calling him out on
shit.
He was talking. Well, he wasn't doing it in a super aggressive way. Oh, he's talking shit on the radio for sure. But after the race, they're interviewing him, and he's like, "I can see this kid staring at me, and he won't come over and apologize to me."
That was great.
I did appreciate that.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I did appreciate that when they played, like in the race, when they played the radio of Zilich calling Day a hack, Jamie Mack immediately agreed with him.
Yep.
And then after the interviews, Jamie Mack went in on him again about, his endless excuses and how it's every week and how apologies go a long way. So.
Yes.
Well, I didn't get to listen to the whole episode yet, but Dale Jr. did address this on the download today. He said they had a meeting. Him and Rick Hendrick and Corey Day and a handful of others had a meeting and basically told Corey what's what, and maybe there'll be some behavioral changes out of him for the rest of the season. We'll see. When you get Mr. Hendrick in there, giving you a talking to, usually that'll settle you down. So
yeah, well, it is one of Rick's cars, and that's got to go sit in the Corvette Museum at some point, so you can't tear it up too much.
Yeah.
Again, there's no doubt that this kid is talented. It's just you really gotta understand what you're doing there. I feel like I know all the pressure in the world is on him to try and win races at this point because he's in arguably the best car in the series, but he also skipped basically all the way from sprint cars up. Never really raced asphalt before this. And, it's just going to have to take a huge fucking very deep bottom of your soul breath here and relax a little bit. Because I think he can do it. I really do. But he's not He's not giving us much hope right now.
No, you can't be. I mean, he pissed off Larson. He's pissed off Dale Jr. and he's like wrecking people that he's kind of sort of teammates with. So
yeah,
that type of shit is not going to keep you in a ride for too much longer. So it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it pretty much wraps up. Oh, and this is the first time, and maybe this was foreshadowing for Saturday, but SVG, when he went to kick his traditional rugby ball into the crowd after his wins, he missed the crowd. It was a very long kick apparently, but he didn't make it over the fence. So that was funny.
Can't win them all, I guess.
That's very true. So yeah, moving on to Sunday, IndyCar. Rob, you can take this because I watched about 10 minutes of the IndyCar race.
Meanwhile, back in St. Pete, beautiful day out there on the Gulf. And before the IndyCar race got started, the Indy Lights or Indy Next series went out there. And shout out to Nikita Jones for winning the race, for first career win there. When Nikita Jones took his helmet off, I was very surprised to find that it was a very small white boy. That's just not what I expected with a name like that. In fact, when you Google Nikita Jones, that's not what comes up, is the little tiny boy that is driving that race car. But shout out to him. That was a pretty entertaining race, and sounds like we have quite the Indy Next. I can't do with these new names for series that I've been calling other things for 20 years. It's Indy Lights, but they're calling it Indy Next now. But a full field here should be a great season. A lot of that's going to be on Fox, so I recommend watching that if you need a little appetizer before IndyCar races or on Saturdays or whatever they run them. Before the IndyCar race started, I tried to get settled down here in the bar to watch that. Opened my TV up, or turned it on, as normal people would call it. And I saw that there was a link directly from the Roku screen to open the race up. And I immediately noticed just how fucked up it was, because the Roku graphic had Formula E cars, and it was listed as the IRL Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Which
IRL hasn't been around for what, almost 20 years?
A long time. Yeah, 2007. And they've never looked like Formula E cars. So whoever's doing the graphics for this doesn't care. They won't even. They'll never hear this, so they're not going to listen to anything
Probably
I have to
AI.
say.
They are listening then.
It could be, yeah. So maybe I should say this. That's not IndyCar at all. Anyway, great race. St. Pete is always one of my favorite visits on the IndyCar circuit. Obviously, I'm an oval guy, and I prefer that. But St. Pete's a cool road course. And I guess I'll say this now. I really, really hope that NASCAR continues to go back there as well. I thought that was a great venue. I thought the racing was pretty. It's almost like a miniature version of Sonoma, especially with that final turn into the front stretch or onto the runway there. Like it's kind of similar to the way that it's like Sonoma without the elevation and maybe like a mile less of ground to cover. But great racetrack. Let's see here. As always, chaotic start. It's a street course. Most people made it through, and it looked like it was actually going to be a clean one until Ray Robb decided to lock his shit up and take out both Santino Ferrucci and Mick Schumacher. Of course, that's Michael Schumacher, the 7-time Formula One champion and a very missed hero of motorsports, still sitting in a bed in Sweden or Switzerland, wherever the fuck he is. I have no idea. But we miss Michael, but everyone's been pulling for Mick. And the first time out an IndyCar and immediately gets Stingray'd, to which Will Buxton in the booth. When Stingray got his penalty for avoidable contact, that's actually what the penalty was for. The most Freudian slip I've ever heard in my life, he says, Stingray Robb gets a penalty for avoidable contract. And I would say that the team did get penalized for that as well, because there's no reason for that guy to be in an IndyCar, respectfully, aside from the check. But hey, Renus VK fans out there should be excited he's there, because that's the reason why that cat's right in that car and putting up good numbers for coin. But yeah, this guy sucks. But anyway, pretty decent race all the way through. Scott McLaughlin led about the first half of it. Alex Palou ran super long on his what are they, fucking soybean-based tires or some shit like that? Soy tires? I don't know. Like, they have a new compound or a complexion of tires this year, and I guess soybeans are heavily favored in that. So, cool. And apparently they don't fucking die. And Palou ran super long, and of course when Alex Palou gets out front, there's no catching him and ends up winning the race. no surprises there. I mean, Palou is obviously the championship favorite again, right out of the gate. And going into Phoenix, he's figured out ovals too, so obviously a favorite going in there. And it's going to be funny to see Pato O'Ward go in there, and if he wins the race next week, to have to raise a trophy as the second-class series there, in his opinion. Because Pato's damn good at ovals too. Very excited for next weekend, but I guess we'll talk about that later in the show, at the end of the show, when we touch on Phoenix a little bit. But yeah, great race. Glad IndyCar is back. Again, great presentation there. I'm not a big Will Buxton fan, but I will say he does a fine job leading the broadcast, and I really don't have any complaints about it. So yeah, IndyCar, next race is in Phoenix. And back over to Austin, where the stars and cars of the NASCAR Cup Series duked it out on the short course, which is so much better than the long-ass one they used to run.
It really is.
So this race, coming into it, I mean, obviously we all expected an SVG win, but on Saturday in qualifying and practice, Ryan Blaney was one of the fastest cars. He got, I don't know, he's in the top 5 starting position, and Tyler Reddick had the pole, which shouldn't come as that much of a surprise because COTA, he has won there before, and he's always done well there. You know, obviously the big pressure this weekend was for him to go for 3 in a row, which no one had ever done yet. So that was a big talking point. Would it be Reddick or SVG getting the win, or, you know, somebody else like Bell or whatever? But definitely some interesting storylines going into the race. And then when the race actually started, Daniel Suarez yet again continued his battle against his former team Trackhouse by spinning out Connor Zilic early on in the race. You know,
not even trying to hide it.
No, he really isn't. And it's funny that like I'm kind of expecting. I mean, fans are starting to notice, like when you go on Twitter and whatnot, like I'm not the only one that's noticing that he's doing this every week, but you would think maybe somebody on TV would notice it too, but maybe they just don't want to piss off anybody at
They brought it up at Bowman Gray, didn't they? In the booth?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they did.
I don't remember. But that was you know, preseason. Now we're in the real season. He's still fucking doing
that was months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretend race,
So this note here, it says everybody hates Boyer, which but then the photo is not Boyer. What the hell is that?
That's a different. That's the next.
Okay.
I see.
Bulletin point after that. The Boyer thing was just. I was just personally annoyed by Boyer all day long. I think I said out loud, "Shut up, Clint," 20 times on Sunday.
He's absolute trash.
Yeah, there was a moment that I thought was funny where. Harvick had picked SVG to win the race, and SVG was running like 6th. And Boyer said something like, Harvick, what about your guy? He hasn't been able to run him down, like trying to jab at him and like poke at him. And Harvick didn't skip a beat. He just completely ignored him and went straight into talking about Ty Gibbs. So I appreciated that.
Also, shout out Ty Gibbs, despite his home-wrecking ways over at Gibbs. Came out with a top 5 finish there. Probably the first time he's had a good one in a little while, I would say.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
All right, so what is this picture then in the notes?
That is Alan Gustafson.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, this is just a note.
Yeah, because I don't know if y'all noticed on Sunday, but as an Elliott fan.
I noticed because I had him in my lineup for Fantasy League. I don't know what the fuck was going on with him. Thankfully, he got a good finish.
Well, Alan Gustafson is what was going on with him. So Elliott qualified 5th. He was strong in practice, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as the race starts, he drops to like 12th out of nowhere, no reason why. And then Alan gets him on... I don't know. He made him pit, and then he made him pit again for extra fuel. So for most of the race, Elliott's running like 30th.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out, Alan can't figure out the setup. Like, just whatever it was, Chase was real pissed off about it. And so I took Elliott out of my lineup because I was like, he's running fucking 30th, which later bit me in the ass. But there was a moment later in the race where Elliott was running behind Chastain and saw Chastain's wheel fall off, and immediately turned in the pits without telling his team. He's like, I'm coming in, because he knew that there was a caution coming. So that ended up putting him on the right strategy to be able to, I think he finished 7th, so he had to be his own damn crew chief. Just very, very over Allen.
Yeah, very, very heads-up move for Elliott there. I got to give him credit there.
So yeah, Jesse Love was in the race for RCR, and so I saw the Kurt Busch beef. They were in around the 20th position. There was a big pack of cars, and yeah,
Kyle?
Kyle, yeah, Kyle and Jesse Love.
I was gonna say, what did I miss?
And yeah, I know. Basically, Kyle was tired of dicking around with him and had to basically just force him out of the way at one point, which was pretty funny. But I didn't
got
see
the shit into that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's when Buescher spun and that knocked him back to 30th. But I didn't see the one with Carson Hocevar. I mean, we're going to talk about Hocevar's spin in a second, but what happened with him and Jesse Love?
I didn't see it either until Hamlin had brought it up on his podcast, and then someone on Twitter found Hamlin's onboard footage, but it looked like, I guess Jesse had ran Hocevar a little bit wide, and I believe it was turn 1, which is pretty normal. I don't think there was anything egregious. And then I guess that pissed off Hocevar, and he proceeded to just door slam the absolute dog shit out of Love the whole rest of the way on that lap or whatever, until I think he knocked him out of the way. So just absolutely lost his fucking mind over nothing.
There was a lot of beating and banging in that part of the field at that point, so I guess I shouldn't be totally surprised.
No, I gotta say, battle of the day was between Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson beating the shit out of each other for a couple laps. That was super entertaining. That
was good. Connor Zilic, we got to talk about him again. So after his early spin, he was able to work his way back up into. He was flying. Like, he had a great car and was able to completely get all the way back up through the pack. There was a late caution with Chastain, and the restart there yet again in turn 1 he got wrecked, but this was a little less definitely wasn't as egregious as the Suarez incident. This was kind of an accordion deal. Technically, I mean, Denny Hamlin was at fault, and he admitted it and apologized on his show. But he got into, I think, William Byron, who then got into Connor and spun him out. So, but Connor was able to get back up into the top 20. So definitely, again, not the day he wanted, but I think it just shows that he does have it. And
he drove his ass off. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be a threat later on this year for sure. So, good showing with a lot of bullshit for him. So then towards the end of the race, last lap, Mike Joy is screaming all of a sudden out of nowhere because Carson Hocevar is spinning on the front stretch. And, of course, we didn't see it until after the race on social media. What happened was he didn't just spin by himself. He was door banging with Cole Custer coming out of the last turn, and Cole just fucking straight up nope, you're not getting back on the track, and just booted him. Like, just completely doored him and took him out. So, good for Cole. I don't know what was going on there, but hey,
they're just grab assing for 29th.
Yep. But yeah, so for as good as SVG is, he did not have the car to beat Tyler Reddick on this day. The final
before
restart.
We get to that, we skipped over Alex Bowman shitting himself.
Oh, yeah, we got to get to that, too. So,
that's what I assume happened. That's what I assigned to the situation.
So, throughout the day, there were a handful of drivers with cool suit issues. AJ Allmendinger, Larson, apparently Bowman, too. Bowman had to get out of the car with, around 20 to go, and it seemed like their day was done, but I had the radio on, and they're like, oh, we got a driver. I'm like, okay. And I was curious, who the hell were they going to get? It wasn't talked about on TV or anything.
Well, Anthony Alfredo is typically the Hendrick backup.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so you assume he'd be the guy, or he's the sim guy, and he's at the racetrack a lot. So you kind of thought that it would be him. Some people thought, hey, maybe they'll get Regan Smith to do it. He's there. He knows how to drive a Cup car. He's won a race before. Maybe they'll get Regan. Nope, they got Myatt Snyder, who I didn't even know was on the property.
Yeah, he was assisting Jamie Little on the pit road reporting duties that day, and he had to ask Jamie if he could do it. And while this was happening, he starts texting Brad Perez, who also had to relieve J.J. Yaley the day before.
That's right.
In the Xfinity race. There was no post-race interview, no real word on what happened with Bowman, but he actually did okay. Granted he was laps down, but I mean he was able to run with the pack, and yeah, he hadn't touched the track, had never driven it before, had never even been in a Cup car before, but did a decent job. So neat story.
We're in his treetop apple juice suit, and and I don't even know he had Cup approval, to be honest with you.
He didn't.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chad Canals had to text NASCAR and get approval.
Whole lot of text messages flying around. Yeah, that whole Brad Perez exchange was super funny because I guess Brad didn't realize why Myatt was asking him these questions about what the entry to 6A was, and he put it together once he saw Myatt climbing in the car.
Yeah, I was definitely curious if Myatt, like you said, was climbing into puke or diarrhea. So
yeah,
we may never know.
No. Well, I'm sure Myatt will end up on the download next week or something like that, and we'll get to find out what that experience was. But yeah. The lesson here is if you're a driver, just, I guess bring your helmet wherever you go, because you never know what's going to happen.
Going on to the finish. So I thought on that last restart maybe SVG was going to get him at the beginning of the lap. It seemed like he had a shot, but within a couple laps, Reddick was just gone, and Tyler Reddick earned his third victory of the season. So not only has he become the first driver to win all 3 Daytona opening races, he's now the first driver ever to win all 3 Cup Series races to start the season. And it's the first time he's won more than one race at a track. This was his second win at COTA. Every other track he's won at, he only has one victory at. So somewhat historic day for Tyler Reddick. And, of course, Michael Jordan was there. And he says he's going to be at Phoenix next week. So I guess he'll be there at every race until Tyler loses.
Until the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
I also learned that he has made it clear that he only will allow Jamie Little to interview him. So
Michael Jordan?
Yes.
Yeah. Just the only job she's good at. So keep her in the pit.
She's the best pit reporter in the game. So let's use.
That's her bread and butter right there.
Yeah, let's use her where she needs to be used. Shane, I also thought that he might get him if Tyler made a mistake, but that 2311 car had way too much fucking pickup down the straights. It was,
had way too much horsepower, Rob. They had 800 horsepower in that car. Did you read the internet?
They may have figured something out. Me and some friends were talking about it, and it probably has something to do with wheel spin and how they're able to just get the power down and not lose traction. But they got something figured out. And of course, this is the first race of the 750 horsepower package, and I think it did make a difference here on the road courses, at least. And I don't understand all the hatred for the race on Sunday. I guess the internet just likes to be negative. And again, you guys know, I'm king shit #1 hater of road racing in NASCAR. I think there's too much of it. I'm glad that there's less of it this year. But what can you really complain about with that race? It had all the hallmarks of a good NASCAR race. It was better than a lot of the road courses that have been around in NASCAR for a long time. I prefer that to Sonoma, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't see what the problem is with what we saw on Sunday. I thought there was good strategy. There was some good battles. Again, that Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson battle for, I was 10th, I think, when they were trying to work their way through the field. That was excellent. Shane tried to chase down Tyler Reddick winning 3 in a row, which people hate winners too. So I guess that's a problem. But I just don't.
I also hate Toyota and Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I just don't see it. It's great entertainment, and I'm not going to be upset to see COTA come back on the schedule as as long as it's like that. Even last year's race was pretty good too. And again, the short course is such an improvement to what we had before. I think it suits the style of racing we get out of Cup cars and all of NASCAR race cars in general a lot better than the Formula One course did, designed for like DRS and battery regen and all that shit. But I thought that was fine, and I can't be alone in thinking that was not a shitty race.
No, it definitely was not horrible. I'll say that.
Phoenix, on the other hand, you weren't horrible. We'll see it next week, but.
And then after the race, we got a nice shot of AJ Allmendinger dead on the ground.
Yes. As Tyler Reddick is burning out 50 feet away from him, AJ Allmendinger is lying passed away on the pavement. In fact, I didn't need to see any interviews or anything like that, and my wife was kind enough to let me keep the race on the TV upstairs at the end of that. And I was like, well, you want to flip on something else? And she's like, no, I want to see if that guy's dead or not. Which he wasn't.
Well, there was also somebody in the ship posting group did this, and I loved it. There's a picture of AJ in a stretcher, and it looks like his legs are about a foot long. And so they posted the picture of the caption. He looks like Dorf on golf.
Yeah.
Which, for us fellow olds who know what Dorf is, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. After the third race of the season and his third win of the season, Tyler Reddick has a 70-point lead on second place Bubba Wallace, really creating a wild cushion for himself. So that will allow him, hopefully he doesn't have too many bad races, but he's setting himself up to. Denny thinks he's guaranteed a top 3 finish in the points. I don't know if that's true, but I can't remember the last time somebody had this strong of a start to the season. So
Christopher Bell last year had 3 in a row. It was just a little later on in the calendar.
Yeah,
but and again, it was a playoff system back then too. So I don't see any reason why he can't go win Phoenix too. To be perfectly honest with you, that team is so hooked up. And clearly they have something going on with the power in those cars. I'm not saying they're cheating, but they've got it figured out. They're the ones who've unloaded faster than anyone else. So, I think that Tyler is a pretty good pickup for your fantasy team in Phoenix.
Also, SVG has worked his way up to 5th in points now. So if he keeps up his, pretty decent work on ovals lately, then...
Yeah, Phoenix is
some road course wins, and I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, Phoenix is going to be the test for him. Now we're starting to get into the true oval shit. Like super speedways are one thing. Now we're going to have to see what the majority of the schedule looks like for him. And I don't have any doubt that he won't continue to do well. I don't see why not. Those Trackhouse cars are pretty fast too, from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Also, NASCAR posted a graphic of the top 20 in points, and somehow Ty Dillon is in the top 20, but his photo that they used made my whole week. I'll put it in the post tomorrow, but man, he looks like you told an 8-year-old boy that he could do whatever he wanted to with his hair for picture day and fix it himself. Good Lord, I can't believe his wife let him leave the house.
Yeah. Well, we talked about fantasy just a second ago and picking Tyler Reddick in Phoenix, which I bet everyone in our league is going to after what we saw last week. There's no reason not to. And got to give a shout out to Golden Corral Mafia for picking up the big win there in the fantasy league.
Yep.
Who is Garfield's Feet's husband. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Keep digging, and Steven can't run out your top 3. And Garfield's Feet, of course, coming in 14th.
Yep. I was 5th. True Love was 7th. Rob was 11th. So, Rob, improvement from the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And
Ross Chastain bit me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, same.
Top 10 for the overall. We've got Twin Peaks in the lead, Golden Corral Mafia, Chris Davis, Alan Kowicki's Briefcase, Garfield's Feet in 5th, Jay Hova, Stephen Kent, I'm in 8th, True Love is in 9th, Little Michael is in 10th, and Rob has moved up to 19th. So
it's going to be a slow burn this year. Yeah.
So yeah, Darf of the week. True Love, you can do this one.
We're going to skip over that one until we talk about that race further in the general notes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, well, we can kick off with that. Of course, I got to know, True Love, did they ring the Sireen when Bill Elliott won down in Sebring?
So I am very pissed off about this. They did not. The pool room the pool room made a statement that the Sireen that they used to use for Bill's wins was retired and put in the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame. So the one they use now is a new one that's just for Chase's wins, but I think that's bullshit, and they should have rang it anyway.
Absolute bullshit.
Especially the fact that Bill won, and he was in one of Chase's old Pro Cup cars, so
that's true. And he beat a bunch of guys in like cup cars and shit, so that was a pretty impressive win. Old man still got it, $1 million bill.
70 years old. Incredible.
Just for inflation, it's probably $65,000 bill now, but he did a great job. But this is where our Darf of the week comes from. And this comes from professional Darf hunter Kyle Armstrong, who's given us a lot of suggestions. Some good, some didn't work out so well for us, but You want to read this, True Love, from Margaret Day Moss?
Okay, sure. So Miss Margaret here, I don't know what group Kyle found this in, but it's definitely Facebook. She says, does anyone know why Bill Elliott is racing in the Cup race tomorrow? Plus, who's he driving for? Peace, love, me. Heart emoji. So,
yeah. And
this was posted, I believe, Saturday night or Sunday morning, so she had already missed the Sebring event. So
I'm just gonna get this woman a dial-up internet connection for her punishment. So not actually, it's not even a punishment; it's a help, just so she can check on the news a little bit. Maybe go to NASCAR.com and see who's actually racing. Yeah, Bill not in the Cup race, though. I bet you old man could probably. He probably could have hopped in for Bowman if he was there.
He might have could, yeah.
Might have could have done that, but yeah.
His little McDonald's fire suit that he wore.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, shout out to Bill. That was pretty cool to see out of that vintage series there at Sebring. And Sebring's a tough racetrack, too. It beats the shit out of you. Kind of shows you just how tough that old dog is. Let's see what else we got going. Speaking of tough guys, Eli Tomac, of course, picking up a Supercross win down in Daytona, and during his celebration tries to pick the trophy up in the fucking top of it, which is it's just like a guy on a dirt bike. Just comes off. And, of course, he thinks he's picking up something heavy, and now half the weight is gone, and that trophy just slams right into his mouth, knocks a tooth out.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, not the roughest. Yeah, it was bad.
Ken Roxon, is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm.
Finished third, and I saw a clip where he threatened to hit a fan with a champagne bottle.
Yeah.
So, I think he was going down the line, like pouring champagne in fans' mouths.
Yeah.
And the fan tried to rip it out of his hand, and he reared back, threatening to hit him with it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, a lot of Supercross fans don't know how to act in public, so I guess that's fair. Still, the worst weekend of the entire Supercross world definitely goes to Jason Anderson. He has stepped out due to some personal issues, which we won't go into, but I will say that it's not surprising coming from a fellow New Mexican. That seems to be how they roll in Rio Rancho, so hopefully he gets his life back together and stops whatever the fuck he was doing at home. And we'll see El Hombre down the line, I guess. But hopefully Eli Tomac's mouth heals up, but it doesn't seem like it'll stop him from winning races. That dude is a fucking monster and a dog.
Guess I gotta Google it now.
Yeah.
So now this
unfortunate situations.
we got some more NASCAR to talk about, and obviously the JGR stuff. But first, there is some lawsuits going on in ARCA with Leland Honeyman and Nitro Motorsports, which is the former Venturini team. This is to me, I just looked through it, and it seems like a very silly lawsuit. Basically, Leland is supposed to be in one of their cars full time. But there was a sponsorship payment issue, so they reduced him to part-time, and they switched him from the 20 car to the 15 car, and he's suing over that, just the car number switch, which is bizarre. And
well, the team is suing him.
I thought he was okay.
No, the team is suing. It's even more confusing. But yeah, it's ARCA drama. I think it's over $25,000 too. So not quite 2311 Ty Gibbs tail money, but still, that's a set of tires.
Does Leland come from money, or did he work his way up?
I'm guessing if he's still in ARCA, it probably doesn't. Probably doesn't come from money.
But there was more info on the JGR lawsuit. After we recorded, a bunch of more details came out from Gabehart's side, and basically, it seems like it all centers around Ty Gibbs. And, Chris, basically said that Joe's entire family was very wrapped up in the management of Ty's team. It didn't allow him to do his job properly. He said Ty wasn't coming to meetings like he was supposed to. Gibbs wanted him to crew chief the car, which he didn't want to do. And basically, one of the main reasons he left was because he felt the relationship with Heather and Ty was so damaged that, knowing that they were going to be leading the team in the future, he decided to just cut bait and leave then. So, not surprising. Kyle Busch weighed in on this prior to the race at COTA. Didn't say much, but he kind of said what we all thought he would say. He said enough. Basically, just they asked him what he thought, and he was like, or who was to blame, and he was like, you guys know. So that was pretty funny. So also too, last week, the Dover All-Star Race format got announced, and this is so stupid that we didn't even talk about this in group chat. We didn't even bring it up because it is so fucking dumb.
No.
Basically, so everyone is going to show.
Race.
Yeah, it's basically just a cup race with less laps. They're gonna. The first segment's like they're gonna flip the field, and then we have to do a bunch of fucking math as to who makes the final 200 lap segment. But yeah, it's not really an all-star race. If everybody shows up, it is not an all-star race. There's no open race this year. I think
Trucks and Xfinity or O'Reilly are there as well, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like a full-ass regular NASCAR weekend. Still get the pretty much normal distance for a Dover race. It's just
it's if this doesn't kill the All-Star race, I don't know what will.
I was just about to say that. We saw Bowman Gray. We've already talked about where we think Bowman Gray belongs in the schedule and its place and what the event should be and what the class should be. I don't know. However the fuck you want to do the math and do the marketing, I don't care. But do we really need an all-star race if this is what we're going to do?
No, we really don't. And, it might as well just be a 37th points race.
Yeah, why not?
Point.
Why the fuck not?
What the fuck? Hamlin had a great tweet about it. He said, drivers who fail to qualify will also be presented participation medals on the front stretch after the conclusion of stage 2.
Yeah.
That's very Southern late model right there. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it because what the fuck else am I going to watch on a Sunday? But
Right.
yeah, I just...
Very dumb.
I don't know.
So the NASCAR full speed documentary series that got announced too, which I think we all forgot about. It's no longer on Netflix. It's now going to be on Prime, and it's going to be a 1-episode, essentially mini documentary about the Daytona 500 this year. So yeah, I don't care about this, and I will not have Prime until their portion of the NASCAR season starts. So I'll probably totally forget this exists and maybe not even watch it. So
I'm sure I'll watch it at some point. But
I didn't finish last season. It was so bad. So I don't know. Maybe I can get through this one episode.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I have faith in you.
Something I don't have any faith in is the next Ram free agent all-star truck driver, Corey LaJoie, is going to be in the truck at which race now?
Darlington, so you get to see that.
No, I won't because I'm not going. I'm only going to the Saturday and Sunday races.
Disappointing, Brian.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I don't need to see Corey.
They're out there chasing checkers or trophies or whatever the fuck the slogan is. So
stacking P17s.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, this free agent truck has gone from Stewart to Ty Dillon to LaJoy, so I'm not sure how they can go lower than that for the next pick, but...
Yeah, well, who knows? There might be some F1 drivers that need something to do because that season looks like it's in serious jeopardy right now.
Oh yeah, I totally skipped over that.
Yeah, they're kicking off in Australia coming up here. That race should be fine. I think most of the equipment got out of the test at Bahrain. Something's going on in the Middle East. I don't really know what, but unfortunately, a lot of the schedule coming up is in the destruction zone. So we're going to see if Formula One has a mid-season. The FIA said they are going to do their best to have a full, however many fucking races they have, schedule. I think it's 26, something like that. 24, I don't know. But the good news is here, and probably one of the wonderful side effects of a surprise war in the Middle East is that it's possible that Imola and Turkey might be coming back to the schedule if they can't make it to Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So, that's great. Silver linings, I guess. But yeah, but all of that still not as depressing as Aston Martin's start of the year. They're going to fly to Australia and essentially start in park because they're so far off on development of their car, and Fernando Alonso was dying inside as a result. So, yeah, they really fucked up here. Everyone was talking about how Cadillac was going to show up and do exactly what Aston Martin is doing, but no, they seem to be just fine with Sergio Perez and Valtteri, and now you've got... whatever bullshit with Lance Stroll. And
they've also got a car made out of Kit Kats. At the race, apparently.
Oh, what kind of NASCAR ass shit is that?
Trying to keep up.
I'll send you guys the photos that Stacy sent to me. But yeah, there's going to be a because I think they're sponsored by Kit Kat, and yeah, there's a car made out of chocolate there. So
cool. That'll last an Australian summer. But yeah, going to be an interesting season. Unfortunately, I won't be watching much of it because it's on Apple TV, and I don't have that, and I don't plan on getting it. I already have 49 streaming services to watch racing on. I'm not about to add a 50th. So I guess we'll have to hear about this one on racer.com or when it's on Netflix, because I guess the Canadian Grand Prix is going to be on Netflix, and something to watch out in the yard when between the 500 and the 600, I guess. That's your Formula One wrap-up right there, big man.
Yep,
That's
this
it for the season.
final note says something about a fat ice race, so I don't know what the hell that is.
Well, I mentioned it at the end of the last episode.
Oh, yes, okay, duh, yeah, got it.
Yeah, so my boyfriend Andy got hired by a Porsche team to work this event. It was the ice race in Big Sky, Montana. I don't know much about it. I'm just going to go over some of it, though, because some of it was interesting. But I guess the history on it is that it was started in Europe in, like, the 1950s. And then in the 1970s, there was an accident where a guy died on a snowplow that fell through the ice, so they stopped having it. And then last year, this kid named Ferdy Porsche, who was the great-grandson of Ferdinand Porsche, brought it to the U.S. So, yeah, so that's the history of it. But Andy was working all weekend, and they had limited Wi-Fi, so I didn't get, like, details on it until he got back last night. So I was just kind of keeping up with it on social media, and all I could really gather was there wasn't much racing. The first day, they stopped racing early in the morning because it was warm and the track started melting, and they wanted to save the track for Saturday. But I did notice that everyone that I saw on social media looked very rich, and they were all cosplaying as Lloyd Christmas in Aspen. So, yeah. But Andy said that, it was just money everywhere. He felt very out of place. He said that it was like super, super rich people who Like there was a guy there with like a $20 million Ferrari that was taking it around the course, like jumping over ruts and shit. And he said it was like a mix of people with like too much money for their own good that were just there for fun, and then actual real racers. There was like no in between.
Yeah. Sounds like an IMSA race.
Yeah. He said there was like VIP areas within VIP areas, and like those tickets were like $4,000 or something. And Brian, you had mentioned that your dad's a big Porsche fan, and that Andy should get him a shirt. And he actually went to look at the shirts, but they were $85 each and total garbage.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't need one that bad.
Maybe our Armani exchange made them, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. He did tell me about a funny moment where that Ferdy Porsche guy, he was there, and he came into the VIP area and was like physically pushing people out of the way to stage a photo next to the track. And he had like a photographer and like hair and like a makeup person, and it just was like straight out of Zoolander. So definitely not somewhere I would want to go.
Yeah, hell of a sales pitch, True Love.
Yeah, but there were a lot of like racers there that I recognized. Like Mobile One brought a huge fleet of their drivers in all different series. Jordan Taylor was there.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Turek, Leah Block. Her mom raced, which I didn't know that she was a racer too, and she won her series. And Isabella Robusto was there too. So couple recognizable names. Also, the Legends cars that run at Charlotte brought some cars too. So
that's cool.
Very interesting mix, but that's a nice race, I guess.
Were any of the participants or attendants on the list? The list, the Epstein list.
Oh, I don't know. I'll let you Google that.
Okay, yeah. I need a full manifest of who was there, and we'll run it through.
Okay.
Well, now for something completely different.
Yeah, that was just for any ice racing fans that listen to the show, which is no one. So
yeah, I mean it's a cool deal. I looked at that event too. I would love to experience something like that, but yeah, the super high end VIP, $1 million fucking presidential fundraiser shit just doesn't really do it for me. And I wouldn't be able to afford it to begin with, but ice racing is badass, and I wodd love to experience that event. Definitely cool that Andy got to see it.
In a different setting, yeah.
That's a far cry from the 450cc dirt bike races they run up here on the ice. So, wow, that's cool. I can't wait to see the pictures from this if we get to. I don't know if we're part of that club or not. So.
Yeah, some of the photos he took are up on the team that he worked for's Instagram. It's BBI Autosport.
Okay,
I think it's called. I think he's going to do some more work with them on another project that I don't think I can talk about yet. But
cool. Well, you'll hear it here first in the corner booth at Applebee's. Forgot what restaurant we were in for a second. Yeah, this is a really hard left turn into the septic tank here. So climb on in, and we're going to take a visit to Bubba the Love Sponge's Ocala Speedway.
That'll be our team booth.
Yeah, not the ones you want to be in anyway. Well, maybe more for me, I guess, than that, but still not paying for that. Lucas Oil Series continued at Ocala this weekend. Devin Moran picked up a win on Thursday. Or Tuesday, excuse me. It was a 4-day show. Brendan Shepard won on Wednesday. Hudson O'Neill picked up a win on Thursday. Friday got rained out, and then he repeated his Thursday performance, or Friday, whatever the fuck. He won twice. Hudson O'Neill looking mighty stout, and yeah, it was okay. I mean, the track conditions are pretty rough, and there's only so much they can do with the amount of rain they received, but. Not quite to the standard of what we've seen at other places in Florida throughout Speed Weeks. And main reason I bring that up is because, of course, Bubba the Love Sponge owns Ocala. If you haven't listened to this show or know who he is, he's a shock jock. Probably most famous for Hulk Hogan fucking his wife on a VHS camcorder. Is that fair to say?
Well, it wasn't a camcorder. It was a secret camera hidden in the bedroom, but yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Essentially.
You can Google that if you want. And he went after Dirt on Dirt for some things they said about this. Now, of course, Dirt on Dirt, longtime stalwart of dirt late model coverage. They've been at it for years and years and years. Flow Racing paid a lot of money to purchase that company. We're talking millions of dollars here. And then they've funneled even more into the program to make it work. And Dirt on Dirt has always prided themselves on being a fairly even-keeled news outlet for dirt late models. You know, they can say whatever they want, and they continue to say whatever they want, even though they're owned by Flow Racing, which is pretty cool. I got a lot of respect for those guys. And even after the Flow purchase, you know, sometimes you see companies come in and buy stuff, and it changes how it works. I mean, you guys remember when ESPN bought J-Ski, and they totally ruined it for a couple years, and people got so fucking mad that they had to put it back to the way it was. Yeah, this hasn't happened with Dirt on Dirt. But I guess Bubba took offense to the Dirt on Dirt guys saying that Volusia is a crown jewel event, and it's a crown jewel in the dirt late model world. And he's like, well, you didn't come look at our other tracks. You know, why are you going to say that? And he took offense at the fact that they were hyping up a dirt car sanctioned event, which of course is owned by World Racing Group, which owns Dirt Vision. So yeah, a competitor of Flow Racing, but at the same time, they talk about, you know, Sister Fuck Speedway and God knows where Mississippi on that website. You know, they don't care. They talk about everything, and they talk about it with no filter, and they talk about it very, again, even keeled. It's journalism. It's good, you know. And I'm sure some people would disagree with me on a couple things here and there, but for the most part, those guys, you know, they have not changed their program all that much since they started it way back in the day. And Bubba was upset that they were talking up another facility that's on another network. And, you know, how could you say that without, you know, coming to my track first and seeing it, even though everyone on Earth who watches dirt late models watched what happened in Ocala and saw how shitty the racing was, particularly on Thursday night. That track was a mess. Jonathan Davenport getting stuck in a rut on lap 1, and that was the end of that. And some of the shittiest features of the year we've seen so far. Again, raining conditions, only so much you can do. But he kept trying to say that, like, since Flow bottom, it's gone downhill. And it's like, the argument just didn't make any fucking sense. And I'm just glad that Bubba reminded everybody that he's kind of a dumbass. And he's been flamed on the internet for this, so don't worry about that. But yeah, let's fix our racetrack before we start throwing stones at Volusia, who raced for about fucking 6 months straight and put on good shows almost every single night that they were open. Respectfully, Bubba, in case I ever meet you. So, speaking of Volusia, the World of Outlaws were back there again over the weekend, or actually on Sunday and into Monday for the Bike Week Classic. Of course, Bike Week in Daytona is ripping down there, so if you want to go see David Allen Coe's corpse and pick up a brand new leather jacket right from the dealership, you can go ahead and do that at Daytona right now. Sheldon Haudenschild picking up a big win on Sunday night. First win with his new team. Very exciting. Of course, that's the ride that Gio Scelzi vacated. It's actually his old ride. So, yeah, they traded seats, and it's gone pretty well for Sheldon so far, showing up nice and fast at Volusia. Anthony Macri picked up the win last night. And shout out to Ashton Torgerson, Mr. Seatbelt Man himself, coming in second. Really seeing a lot of good speed out of that Shark Racing 1A. A lot of people kind of questioned putting Ashton in that seat after Jacob Allen stepped out, and he's really proven himself. And last night, the way he was able to rip the bottom, which is a funny way of saying it, but the bottom was the dominant line, and he was as smooth as silk down there, as was Macri, and that's how he got the win getting around gravel, was by just cruising by in the bottom, not a care in the world. But yeah, I'd love to see the Shark guys do well, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more out of Ashton as the year rolls on. On the asphalt side of things, Smart Tour was at Florence. Brandon Ward picking up a big win there with Jack Baldwin in second, so good for the young man. Cars Tour was at Southern National. Caden Quapple won the late model stock feature after wailing on Air Doug Barnes. There was a little bit of a fight in Victory Lane, and Carson Elledge got credited with pulling Doug Barnes out of the car in victory lane, but apparently that was her sister. I didn't realize that. And I guess
didn't realize she had a sister that looks just like her.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know she had a sister, and I didn't know she had one that was a literal fucking twin. Yeah. But they don't fuck with Carson Elledge's victory lane is the lesson. Yeah. And
tag team duo.
That's right. But shout out to Caden for picking up a win there. He did rough Doug up a little bit, but I don't know. I didn't see anything too egregious, especially for the car store.
To go to victory lane about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, Mason Walters picking up the Pro Late Model win at Southern National. Yeah, Dale Jr., speaking of the car series, he's going to be running the race at Nashville, so that's going to sell out now. So if you're going to that, you better get your tickets quickly. They also released the paint scheme for that, this beautiful camo scheme with the Bass Pro colors all over it. That thing looks nice, and even if you're not a Dale Jr. fan, you're going to be buying that fucking T-shirt. Trust me. Speaking of the World of Outlaws, I meant to mention this when we were talking about Volusia, but you can sign up for the World of Outlaws hotline. It's meant for it's meant for competitors. You can text whatever number to whoever, and you'll receive updates from the track. Please turn your transponder back in. It's the end of the night. About to have a driver's meeting in 15 minutes. And they also have a habit of sending out the lineups for heats and features about 15 minutes too late, which is cool. It's not the most reliable service since whoever took it over last season, but it got even more interesting last night. Sitting on my couch, and I receive a text that it's just a middle finger emoji. It says, and somebody reacted to, I assume, the lineup for the feature with a big old black middle finger. And then several other, liked an image, removed a dislike from an image, disliked an image. So apparently something happened with people being able to respond to that and react and reply. And then shortly after all these messages started coming through, of course, the middle finger is by far the funniest one. We get a message saying, please disregard the reactions that just appeared on the World of Outlaws text line. We are currently in contact with our IT department to determine the source of the issue. So we all got flipped off by the World of Outlaws last night.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I like that. Also, a sad note to close out the septic tank. Chase Pistone passed away over the weekend. If you guys don't know who he is, he was Tiger Tom Pistone's grandson, a legend in Legends cars, had a lot of Pro Cup starts, raced some bush races, raced some truck races, also was a car builder. I believe he built Legends cars and I think late models too, I'm not really sure. But he was not a famous guy by any means, but definitely well regarded and loved in the racing world, and he passed away over the weekend, 42 years old. That's very young, and of course thoughts and prayers to his family and the whole racing community. We've lost a lot of folks over the past few months here, and the hits just keep coming, so just be sure to tell your friends you love them. And that's about all I have to say about that. But there is some racing coming up this weekend. Lucas Oil is going to be at Golden Isles for 4 nights. Smart Tours at Anderson and World of Outlaw Sprint Cars take a little trip down to Talladega to run at the little short track out there. Also going to be stopping in Magnolia for a night, so that's going to be good shit. You can watch all that on Flow Racing and Dirt Vision. See, we are an unbiased media organization, Bubba, and we talk about both on this show. I'm sorry, True Love, you were saying something and I cut you off very rudely.
I was just going to mention that I saw that TMZ had picked up and posted an article about Chase Pistone passing away, which I thought was very strange. I think it just kind of seems like they've leached on to NASCAR news since Biffle passed away, which is kind of gross.
Well, that and the Jordan stuff too. They posted a bunch of shit about that.
Yeah, well, TMZ is trashy, and if you read that, I probably don't want to be your friend, but but that's a septic tank.
I love soaps, and even I don't give a fuck about TMZ.
Exactly. And we're going to flush TMZ down with the septic tank this evening. And I guess we're not really stepping out of it because this week's video of the week is kind of in line with the septic tank. So we'll give it a quick little small button squirt here. Flush the piss down, and we'll talk about some big block modifieds in a place where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I was going to say, technically not still a short track, but cars that don't belong on a road course for sure.
Yeah.
These are the most dog shit photos of this Kit Kat car.
I know.
Spy shots. Yeah.
They literally look like a pile of dog shit. That's amazing. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, this was the big block modified race from the 2024 GP3R race in Montreal, which was a very neat course. I didn't really watch any of the other stuff on this 10-hour video, but I know they had like NASCAR was running up there, which I think it's just called the NASCAR Canadian
Pinty
Series
Tour,
now.
yeah.
But there were a bunch of other divisions running there, and yeah, there were it was 14 cars entered in this modified race. I don't necessarily want to go through like lap by lap like some of the recaps we do, but I have a bunch of notes here.
Yeah.
So there were two recognizable names in the field. First being Ron Fellows, who, if you don't know who Ron Fellows is, get your head out of your ass. He's a legend. And we also had Alex LeBay in the field, which he actually finished 13th at COTA on Saturday.
Yep.
He runs part-time for SS Greenlight Racing. He runs a lot of the road course races for them. And
also, don't forget 2025 American Canadian Tour champion and former Truck Series winner Raphael Lessard.
Oh yeah, well he ended up winning the race, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, there were some NASCAR guys in there and a bunch of modified guys. I mean, it's all Canadian guys, and while a bunch of the Canadian guys have come down and run races I've been to, I didn't really recognize too many of the names.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. If I didn't really recognize many of them either, but I'm also not as much into big blocks as you are, so I didn't recognize anyone except for the guys who definitely weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Matt Williamson is probably the most famous Canadian driver on the series right now, and he wasn't there, so
Yeah.
The interesting thing that I mean, obviously it's weird seeing these cars on a road course, but apparently the announcer said they didn't change the setups or anything to these cars, and they ran dirt tires, which I found very funny.
Yeah.
They were like screeching. You could hear them screeching through every turn and sliding through turns and stuff. And
Yeah, big blocks
That
are
was my
fucking
favorite thing about the
loud.
race.
yeah, they are super loud, and you can even see like the setups. Like half the cars like were still like leaning to the left, which I mean, that for a road course, there's not too many right-hand turns. I think they said there's technically 3, but one of them isn't hardly even really a turn.
Yeah.
It's just like a curved straightaway. But the course itself is very cool. I loved that one blind turn where they drive through the columns, and that I don't know what
it's
you call
badass. Yeah.
thing, but
Well, Trois
It was-
Rivières is the oldest operating street course in North America.
yep.
They've been doing it for a very long time. It's actually been on the bucket list of mine. Not very far up the list by any means. There's places I want to go before there, but definitely a place I've always wanted to check out, and definitely a lot more character than a lot of street courses you see out there in any form of racing for that matter. Just literally riding through neighborhoods and shit.
Yeah, and you can definitely, it seems like you can go up there and get a full day's worth of racing, because seems like there are 4 or 5 races running that day. I did find it interesting that they said there was a guy on the Super Pole. I guess like they do qualifying and then they do another race, like a short race to determine positions. So I've never heard of a Super Pole in any race series before.
Nope.
So that was interesting. Starting the race, the announcer, he was starting to shit on the guys like lining up for the green flag because they just were way out of position, but they were just lining up for a 4-wide salute, which I don't know if they needed an extra lap to do that for one straightaway, but what can you do?
Like 16 cars.
The quote from the announcer: "They are not precision machines when it comes to road courses, street circuits." I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Just look at them.
So yeah, this race, the entire race was led by Raphael Lessard. Most of it with a pretty big lead. First turn. Or the first incident, somebody got into the back of Ron Fellows and fucked his car all up, but he still continued and got like 7th place finish, I want to say. There were a couple different cautions for guys, spinning and stalling their cars out and stuff like that. I really liked turn 6, like the camera positions and just the shots of the cars, and it seemed like a pretty squirrely turn. So that was pretty neat. But yeah, the racing itself, I mean, listen, as the big block modified guy, I'm the first to tell you that the big block modifieds don't always put on the best shows. And, this was a pretty boring race, which I kind of expected it, I didn't necessarily expect to see a bunch of beating and banging and a lot of passing, because the cars were hard to pass. And even on a road course like this, they did point out that drafting was pretty important, but it was still difficult to pass. I did like there was one team that had two cars that were just the number one, but it was the number or the number spelled out in big letters, so just one on the side of their cars.
Yeah, cool.
And those two cars were beating and banging with each other for a while, which that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, this was more of a freak show that I just always wanted to check out, to be honest. Alex Labate did pretty well. It seemed like he maybe had a chance to lead, but I think he ended up finishing third. But yeah, Rafael Lazar just had the entire race. But it was cool. I mean, like I said, it's now I can say I've seen this, and I don't know if I can't say it's something I want to go attend, but it's certainly a neat freak show. So what did you guys think?
I thought it was cool. I've heard about this race for years. I guess in the grand scheme, it's not all that far from me. I think it's about 7 hours, something like that. And again, the course itself is just beautiful. And it seems like a nice place to go sit for an entire day. Again, this video is 8 fucking hours long, and it's the entire...
It's 10 hours long.
10 hours long, that's right, yeah. And it's the entire day of racing, and that's not the only day they run, too. So just a total festival of speed and motorsports on this very old road course with a ton of character. And I've seen Penty's races there before on TV. Those are generally pretty good, or whatever they call it now, the NASCAR Canadian Series. And who knows what happens in the first 7 hours. I couldn't tell you. I fast-forwarded through that. But it seems like a cool event. So, definitely more intrigued about this than I was before I watched it. Maybe I'll check it out someday. What do you think, True Love?
There wasn't enough for me to take that many notes about it, but I mean, it did hold my attention. Like it wasn't anything crazy, but it was still like visually, like, what am I looking at? And also, like I said, the tire squealing kept my attention. It felt like the race went by quick.
Yeah.
Even though it was only like an hour.
Yeah, it was a 20-lap race, and they said they had an hour limit, but it only ran like 40 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did, like, you gave us the timestamp, so of course I fast-forwarded to that. But while I was fast-forwarding, I noticed that the first hour of that video is just a silent screen. So I don't know who edited this.
Yeah, well,
Raw video right there.
Yeah, this is they got to have it streaming somewhere, because like there was no post-race interviews or anything. It just went to the straight screen for like a half hour till the next race started. So
I think my favorite part of the whole race, though, was before the race, when it was just silent screen. It's kind of like a video showing like stuff happening around the track, but no one's talking. You don't really know what's going on. It's just kind of a still camera. And then the broadcaster finally starts talking, and then immediately a lady on the loudspeaker talking in French starts speaking over him. And then she stops, and then the broadcaster starts talking again, and then immediately she starts singing "Oh Canada" over them. So a lot of French names. I couldn't keep up, just the few names that I recognized. So
cool. Well, I'm glad you kind of enjoyed that. So video of the week this week. So this was inspired by Denny Hamlin. If you guys, I mean, you all listen to his podcast, but the last few months he's really been talking about fishing. He goes fishing a lot now. And so this inspired me to look up just NASCAR fishing related videos. And I found two short ones that we're going to watch. Both from the 80s. The first one is an episode of Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, Fishing with Dale Earnhardt. This is from 1985. I guess there was some charity fishing tournament, and he goes out with Dale. And it's a half-hour video, but the NASCAR portion's just the first half, so that's 15 minutes. And then the other video is from Inside Winston Cup Racing in 1988. It is just a charity race or an exhibition race. Dale Earnhardt and Davey Allison racing bass boats. So
Nice.
yeah, those are our videos of the week for this coming week.
Well, if you're interested in going to Trois Rivières, you can go check this event out on August 7th, 8th, and 9th this year. So get that on the schedule. Go to see the NASCAR Pinty's Series up in
I don't know if
Canada.
I'm allowed in Canada yet, but
It's also my wife's birthday that weekend, so I will also not be attending this event. But if you're interested, you can do it. You can do it on your own. You don't have to come celebrate her birthday with me.
Cool. Well, so yeah, this week we got Phoenix, which nobody's incredibly excited about, but
I'm intrigued. I'm
Yes.
more excited for this one than I
Yeah.
have been for years past with the horsepower change. And I don't know. Is Goodyear bringing a different tire? I haven't heard anything about that.
No, I think it's the same tires
Okay.
they ran in the fall. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting from this new points perspective and see what's going to happen with Reddick and all that. So I mean, it'll be fine. So, and it's just the 2 series this week, and then Phoenix. No, the trucks are off until Darlington in a few weeks. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is that. As always, you can follow us on Instagram at meetmeatapplebees, and same thing for YouTube. I am Speedway Screens on all the things, and speedwaytsj.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off.
still, Snake Mountain True Love. I have nothing to promote. So,
Nice.
on to Rob.
Sweet. Rob Motes
You guys.
Rob Motes _ unofficial on Instagram. My band is called These Wild Plains. Also, of course, I play drums for Charlie Marie, and I do have some news on that front. First single off her new record is going to be coming out on April 3rd, wherever you stream or buy music. So very much looking forward to that entering the world. Very proud of this record. And April 3rd. That's about a month, exactly a month from now. So you'll hear more about it in the coming weeks, though.
There you go. All right. Well, with that, Check is here. So thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to you all next week.